Hello folks, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about the Canon R6 Mark III. And as an ex-Canon user, I have to be sincere. This camera seems to be the camera to go for when it comes to the price. Because I don't think Canon has ever actually even pulled out something like this with so much feature in a camera at this type of a price, right? Because this camera, if the pricing is right, it is set to come at the same price as the Lumix S1 Mark II, right? So the E version, not the S1 Mark II even. So this is quite an exciting thing for a Canon user. And I love the features that this camera is going to have. So there is one specific thing that nobody is really talking about, which we will talk about a little bit further in the video. But let's just go briefly through the whole specs, because I think if you are in this video, you probably know already the whole spec sheet of this camera. But let's go a little bit into it. So it is basically going to be the photography version body-wise and feature-wise of the C50, right? Which the C50 is probably the best camera that Canon has put out as for now, with that style of body, which obviously it's the first one with that style of body, but you get my point, right? So let's go straight into the features. So well, it has the same sensor, so 32 megapixels, full frame CMOS sensor, not stacked. Then it has the DJI processor. It doesn't seem that it's going to have the DJI accelerator, which kind of makes sense because it basically was created so that high megapixel count cameras can actually put out a bit more faster. So camera like the R5 Mark II, for example, which has 40 plus megapixels, kinda it's better to just put this type of, you know, system or this type of new chip into it, just because it's more dedicated to photography and sport photography than an R6, right? Kind of lineup, which is kind of more of a full hybrid kind of consumer camera. So that's how you actually save cost as well. So yeah, it's going to have the dual pixel CMOS AF2. So there are going to be some AI cool stuff in there. It's going to shoot basically 40 frames per second electronically and 12 frames per second mechanical. I don't really understand why companies limit so much, you know, the mechanical part and really like invest so much in the electronic side, but that's how it is. 12 frames per second is pretty still good, and 40 frames per second is basically as much as the R6 Mark II shot. And I have to be sincere, the R6 Mark II didn't have a stack sensor neither, but the sensor has some gimmick in there, which it makes it really fast as a sensor as well, which they were able to even make a 4K 60 uncropped, right? So Canon has some secret juice behind there, so they know what they're doing. Then it's going to basically have the AF area are the same as the R5 Mark II and the R1. It's going to have people, animal, vehicle tracking. It's going to have an IBIS of 8.5 stops in the center and then 7.5 in the corners. Then it's going to basically have a flash sync of 1/320 when it's the full width, so the 3x2, and then if you want to use the crop, it's going to have 1/40, and that is even a really good way to read it, that this sensor is still going to be freaking fast, even though it's not a stacked sensor. But as I said, we have already seen that from the R6 Mark II, so there isn't really anything new here. Then it's going to still have a mechanical an electronic first curtain and electronic shutter, obviously, which we have seen before. It's going to have a pre-capture, it's going to have dual slot, which one is going to be the CF Express Type B and one is going to be the UHS-2. It's going to have this part. This part is the part that blew me away, because as a Lumix shooter, I know what that means to have that as an option, but Canon shooters or Sony shooters or Nikon shooters or nobody else out there than Lumix when it comes to the full frame lineup, and Fuji when it goes to, you know, to the crop sensor lineup, and Blackmagic user when it comes to the full frame lineup as well, but cinema only. We got finally OpenGate in a mirrorless freaking camera. A part of Lumix and Fuji. Finally, Canon understands and camera companies are starting to understand that we want OpenGate. We love OpenGate and it's finally here. Sony users, I don't know if you will still get that love, but finally, as Lumix users, Canon users are starting to get since the C50 OpenGate. So they actually got it a notch up. So instead of 6K as Lumix are used to, they have 7K. 1K more, 1K less, doesn't make any difference. But this will be able to shoot in RAW, 7K RAW video recording, which Lumix does as well, but I think Lumix does it mostly externally, the full width RAW. While with the Canon, you should be able to shoot internally. So that is really awesome. But remember, the Canon R6 Mark II, you can still shoot ProRes RAW externally through an Atomos Ninja and reach up to 6K 60p. So now that you can have this internally, it's really, really good. And another amazing thing is, like, you are able to have Canon Log 2 and Canon Log 3, who cares? Canon Log 2 is what we are most interested about, inside a mirrorless freaking camera. Finally, thank you, thank you Lumix. Thank you Canon for doing that, because your C-Log 1 and C-Log 3, for how good they are, C-Log 2 is way better for dynamic range and for easier of color grading, so it's really cool. You are able to use long up, all eye basically frames, and then you are going to have a maximum ISO of basically 64,000, which I believe is going to be expandable to most probably like 100 and something. Then OpenGate RAW 25 and 24 and 25p, depending where you're shooting, if NTC or PAL. And then you are able to have OpenGate basically 7K RAW, 7K MP4, and then you are able to shoot proxies internally in Full HD MP4. And then you are going to have even more flavors of RAW, so 7K DCI 17:9, OpenGate by 3:2. And then the audio is a little bit weird because it's going to be limited to 12-bit, so not even 24 or even 20 or 32, but 12-bit. That's a little bit weird there, but well, who cares? You're gonna have 4K time-lapse capabilities, MP4 videos, and that's where it's kind of interesting, because they're gonna even give you another type of way of shooting, so you'll be able to shoot in 2K as well for whatever reason. If you want to use that, is there. And then basically you're gonna have all the flavors of shooting that Canon has, you know, from XFH EVC, so basically H.265 kind of codec, but you are able to have H.264 as well codecs, and you are able to actually have 24-bit audio, but it's going to be not in the raw version apparently, so only when you're shooting in a normal standard mode, so not raw. full-size HDMI finally, and you are going to use the LPE6P battery, so the ones that came, I believe, with the R5C, I believe, don't quote me on that, but they are basically the newer model of LPE6P. And the price, guys, this is where I was actually talking about that. If this price end up to be true, it's going to be mind-blowing. Okay, so for the body only, it's going to be basically $2,800, okay, which in my vary of 500 or so, because we know pricing changing and stuff like that, but still, it's a super good price for a freaking 7K sensor camera that shoots raw internally. Let's forget Nikon in this specific moment, right? Because Nikon has red and stuff like that, but still has many flaws if you don't want to shoot in raw. But Canon colors, right? You have Canon colors, and you're going to be able to even shoot Canon raw light by using Canon colors, right? So I don't know, it excites me so much. And then basically with the RF24 to 105, the one with the variable aperture 4 to 7.1, basically the price will be 3,150. And then if you want the RF25 to 105 f4, then it will be 4,000 plus. So it's super interesting, if I have to be sincere, and that's where reading all of the specs and seeing the pictures of the camera leaks, it a little bit worries me, because this is going to be a powerhouse of a camera, but then we're going to have overheating issues, right? Because the Lumix S1 Mark II has basically most of these features, and we know that that camera has a fan inside and still can overheat because it's a powerhouse of a camera in a smaller body. So what I think Canon is going to actually do is that this might actually be the R5 Mark II same body, so that then you can use the module, right? The one that use the fan, you know, so they leave basically a hole out, so then you can put the module and then it will suck, you know, the air out. And I believe that that's probably what they are going to do, because if not, that means they're going to create another module again, which wouldn't make sense. And you have so many parts nowadays around, and who has the R5 Mark II and would like to have, as it can be, the R6 Mark II now has to buy a different part again, you know, so it becomes a little bit cumbersome. So I believe that's what Canon is going to do. But oh boy, if this camera is super interesting, and if it's true, all of this is true, because, well, everything has been leaked right now, because the announcement is going to be tomorrow. This is going to be amazing. The announcement time is freaking weird though, because it's going to be at 8 a.m. EEST, so Eastern Standard Time, which is the most weird ever. And then it's going to be like 1 a.m. in New York time. Like, why did Canon decided to do that doesn't even make sense. But yeah, share down below your comment and what do you think Canon will do, you know, to prevent this camera to overheat, and what are the things that excite you the most about this camera? Because for me, everything excites me about this camera, and I cannot wait to see people testing it and comparing it, especially to the Lumix S1 Mark II, because that is going to be its main competitor, in my opinion, until Sony will release the A7V, which they have been delaying because of this camera. So this is a super good, because it's going to push Sony to actually finally do something really revolutionary with the A7 lineup. So I can't wait. I can't wait. But hey, I'm gonna see you tomorrow because I'm for sure gonna put out a video after the announcement because it's gonna be at 8 a.m. in the morning. So after I drop my kiddos in school, I will see the reviews and stuff, and I will record a video sharing my thoughts on the camera. And yeah, so until tomorrow, take good care of yourself, stay safe, and take care of yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually. I'm gonna see you in the next one.